Kahalayim la Yahal Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, peace, blessing, mercy, and salutation to all the brothers out there teaching the truth and sincerity. In the name of Yahal Bashim Yahushai. So, I was doing a little studying, and the Spirit jumped on me to do this lesson. It's based upon the violence that this Edomite does to the nations, especially the nation of Israel, and in this instance, the tribe of Gad. So Habakkuk 1:1, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. So, the violence that's been happening would have to be since the time of Babylon and the time of the Assyrians, and the time of the captivities from Egypt on until right now. So we have always been in some sort of captivity and been enduring in some type of violence. Okay, verse 3, why dost thou shew me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. So we got this thing called the internet, with some platforms like YouTube and Instagram and other social medias, and we see things like violence against our people, mostly in this time, like Emmett Till, and then Trayvon Martin, and the Mexicans that get put in concentration camps, and then Native Americans that suffer, all of us, the whole nation, right? And cause me to behold grievance. So when I look at this whole, my people being fucked up like that, it causes me grievance. For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Now, who's doing the violence? So every time we've been in a generation, in a reincarnation, we have been part of this. Therefore, the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about righteousness. Salakia. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore, wrong judgment proceeded. So, Habakkuk is complaining right here, but ultimately it's the Lord doing it. Verse 5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard, Habakkuk 1:5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard, and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. So we tell you Negroes that the Native Americans, you're the Lord's chosen people, and you don't want to believe it. This is a good part right here. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land, to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. So let's get into that word, Chaldeans, and bitter. Because remember, America means bitter. And some people say that it was named after a Native American, Amaraquah. And then some scholars say it was named after Amerigo Vespucci. In either case, it means the same thing. Bitter. Alright. First, let's get the Chaldeans. Okay, Cassidy. Okay, it says Kashadaya. Occasionally with enclitic Kashada Yama. That's when it's talking about the peoples. So it's talking about the place. By implication, a Chaldean. Alright. A territory, lower Mesopotamia, bordering on the Persian Gulf. The inhabitants of Chaldea living on the lower Euphrates and Tigris, those persons considered by the wisest in the land by extension. So the Chaldeans are past, already gone at this point in time, because Habakkuk speaking about what's going on in Babylon. I mean, the captivity of Babylon, which is during after the Chaldeans in what's modern day Iraq right now. That bitter and hasty nation. So this will prove that the Chaldeans that we're talking about right now is America. Bitter. Mara. So that's part of America, right? Mar. And then think about this. The Native American king that the name of the land, Marquardt or whatever his name, has the name Mar in there. Okay, which means bitter. Mar or Mara. Literally or figuratively, and this place is full of bitterness, man. Full of bitterness. Bitterness, a water of food, harlots, and so now we know it's talking about America, because America is a harlot. End of wickedness, cry of pain bitterly. So let's go back to scripture. Habakkuk 1:7. They are terrible and dreadful, their judgment and their dignity shall precede themselves. Now, in every captivity and war, so yeah, drinking some of that black tea. In every war and captivity, there's a terrible and dreadful judgment, right? And the reputation precedes them. Like Alexander the Great, he went around conquering, and what helped him out is his generals. There was a main general that was the head of the calvary, which is run by horses. His name was Perdiccas. He was very important to this man because the horses. Okay, for my training and my experience in martial arts, the stories are and the legends are whatever. I learned the old school martial art. So the saying is, a warrior on horseback is worth 1,000 on foot. So if you have horses, you're striking hard and you're killing hard. You have more power behind you. Habakkuk 1:8. Their horses also are swifter than leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far, and they shall fly as the eagle that hasted to eat. So their horses are swifter than the leopards. Did you know that leopard and a puma and a jaguar pretty much the same shit? And that's what we used to call ourselves, the Aztecs, the pumas, the jaguars, the leopards. So these horses took us out, and then the other Native American tribes too, because we're all from the same family, and are more fierce than the evening wolves, and their horsemen shall spread themselves. So it was like I said, one on a calvary rider that's good, he's worth a lot more than a foot soldier because he's got more power. Now, let's get some. Well, you know what? Let's do this. On December 29, 1890, in one of the final chapters of America's long Indian Wars, the U.S. cavalry kills 146 Sioux at Wounded Knee. And now, if we take a look at Wounded Knee, which we are, okay, Ghost Dance and Sitting Bull, that's fucking tight names, man. Wounded Knee, located on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in southwestern South Dakota, was the site of two conflicts between, come on, Cletus, come on, between North American Indians and representatives of the U.S. government. In 1890, massacre left 150 Native Americans dead in what was a final clash between federal troops and the Sioux. Alright, so now we're going to go back to these. So this title is U.S. Army Massacres Sioux at Wounded Knee. Okay. So, if you take a look at these cavalries, yeah, let me see if I can find it. So that one, the U.S. cavalry, it says right there, kills 146. So let's go back to that article. Because we're talking about their horses being swifter than the leopard. And look at this dude was named Ghost Dance. So you can't see no ghosts, man. So, dude, man, these names are spiritual. You know. Man. So they killed Sitting Bull, who was a great military guy. So where was the part that I was really... Okay, there it is. So I'm gonna read this again. Many right here. Many Sioux believed that if they practiced the ghost dance and rejected the way of the white man, the gods would create the world anew and destroy all non-believers. Okay. That was what they were, their customs, right? So we'll get the ghost dance. The ghost dance was a spiritual movement that arose among Western American natives. It began among the Paiute in about 1869 with a series of visions of an elder, Wat Wab. So, dang, that's okay. So why was the ghost dance feared? It's because it was like a message. It's like what we're doing now. Okay, it's like what we're doing now. But this is what I accidentally got that through the spirit. Okay, so why did this happen? Native Americans had been defeated and confined to reservations because they had angered their gods by abandoning their traditional customs, which is the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, so let's go back to Habakkuk. Alright. So Habakkuk 1:6, for lo, I raised up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. So Gad suffered a big loss, but you know we'll get them back. You know, hope that was edifying to the elect, and until next time I say shalom.